Right, how everybody, don't even know how to start the stream, can't even get a sentence out. I was going to say, right, everybody, how we all feeling, but then I just decided, you know what, I'll just fuck up the intro and just go with whatever was coming out of my mouth with the red. That's not a great start. That is not a great start to tonight's stream. That is just, right, everybody, how the hell are we, is what I was trying to say. Oh, you know you're not going to have a great stream when that's how you started off. Anyway, how the hell are we, everybody? Excuse my gibberish. I hope you're all having a lovely Saturday. I hope you're all enjoying the warm weather. Well, if you're in the UK and Ireland, anyway, the warm weather. Yeah, sorry about my intro. My head's all over the shop. I'm too tired. It's going to be a good stream, though, I promise you. There is some news, there is some stuff to get through. We will have some fun. Hope you're all keeping well. Hope you're all rested. Hope you're all, I was going to say enjoying the summer, but how can you enjoy the summer when the Reds aren't in action? For me, it's just not possible. Got AFCON, got the Copa America, got the Women's World Cup, but still not the Reds. Is there any of it? Right, guys, how are we? Hay fever driving me mad. It's the same in my house, mate. I'm thankfully alright with it at the minute, Peter. I'm usually someone that suffers with hay fever, but the wife is absolutely in tatters. And do you know what the really weird thing is? My wife is allergic to antihistamines. So my wife is allergic to the stuff that stops you being allergic to something. You couldn't make it up. Sometimes when she says it to a doctor, they look at her like she's got 8 heads. Anyway, how the hell are we, guys? What do we want to start off tonight? Let's talk about Nicolas Pepe. That is the big story, isn't it? That is the big thing so far. It seems there's been a few bits and pieces that happened yesterday when I wasn't here, of course. I was away with the missus for the night, as you know. So let me just try and break this down, all this Nicolas Pepe stuff, and we'll see if we can come to a consensus on where it comes from. From what I can gather, there's a gentleman called Sega Diallo, and you guys might remember him. I think he might have been, was it the Naby Keita story or something he broke? He was pretty central to one transfer story break, and I can't remember which one it was. Well, he mentioned something along the lines of Nicolas Pepe having his heart set on a move to England. And then Mohamed Bouafsi, I believe the gentleman's name is, who is that journalist from France, he tweeted the googly eyes emoji. And then people start putting 2 and 2 together, and people start talking about Liverpool, and people start looking at Mohamed Bouafsi's previous tweets and stuff. And, you know, Twitter being Twitter and social media being social media, all of a sudden we're signing Nicolas Pepe. And this is... I tweeted about this earlier on, and I seen somebody mention it here. Where's it gone? So Super QWERTY said Melissa Reddy put the Pepe talk to bed, didn't she? Exactly. I said this on Twitter as well. I have the height of respect for Melissa Reddy. I think she's a tremendous journalist. I really enjoy the work that she does. But if Liverpool are interested in Nicolas Pepe, and if he does sign for the club, what I would wonder is why Melissa Reddy wouldn't have come out and said that we contacted Lille directly to say we'd no interest if that is what she hadn't wholeheartedly believed or had been informed of. Now, I don't know if we're in for Nicolas Pepe or if we're not in for Nicolas Pepe. I haven't got a clue. We're going to sign somebody in this window, and we'll get through who this might be as the stream goes on. What do you guys think? I did a vote on Twitter earlier on, and it actually came out the majority that most people thought we weren't interested in signing Nicolas Pepe, and that Liverpool probably weren't going to even try and go for him. Bayern Munich, we know, were interested in him. There was a link somewhere else to him. I can't remember who it was. But if Mr. Diallo, if Sega is right, he said that he wants to move to England. And if he's going to want to move to England, then as things stand, Liverpool are probably his only option. So what do you guys think? Anyway, you guys have probably read into this. I had more time to go through this than I have. Farrell said, I think they're feeding the media and what they want the media to know. I think it's stagecraft. Claire, how are you? Forget about Mbappe. For fuck's sake, he's not coming to Liverpool. We're not on to that yet, Fran. Relax, mate. Relax. It's all good. We'll have a bit of fun around Mbappe later on. And, you never know, man. That's all I'm going to say. You never know. Anthony Cronin said, I'm getting scared we're not going to sign it. And we will, mate. We will. Well, we have. We've already signed Sepp Berg, haven't we? Somebody said to me earlier on, has anybody seen Sepp Berg and Connor Crosby in the same room together? Which is a fair question. I can't say that I have. Do you know what I mean? I can't say that I have. Ben said, don't think we're interested. Arsenal were interested, but they look like they're going after Wilfried Zaha, don't they? Everything I've read in the last couple of days suggests Arsenal want Zaha. There'd even been links to Aubameyang to Manchester United, which seems very strange to me. Don't think we're going for Pepe, but like him to come, said Adam Parks. I've been very honest about this, Adam, my entire time, and I even said it to Connor earlier on. I find it very hard to get excited about a player that I haven't seen. So I take people's words, and people say that they think he's a very good player. He's still a little bit raw, but at the same time, I haven't seen him, so I've tried to kind of stay neutral on this the entire time and give my honest opinion is that I haven't got a clue. I'm buzzing to see Brewster play, said Kyle Payne. I'm with you, mate. That's one of the things I'm most looking forward to in pre-season. Peter Bryan, how are you, sir? Domestic Butler as well, how are you? Amusing Assassin said Liverpool said they're not bidding for Pepe. Well, we didn't say jack shit, mate. Journalists have said that we're not bidding for him. When I say we didn't say jack shit, please don't mean I'm having a dig at you. That's just the language I use when I talk. Sorry, mate. I didn't mean that to come across like I was having a little dig at you. I wasn't. But you're right. The rumours gone out there and the journalist briefings have been that Liverpool aren't going in for Nicolas Pepe. But my question is this. We go back to... Who was it the other night that came out with... Was it Maddock? I think it was Maddock, was it? That said, don't shoot the messenger, no 60, 70 million pound signings this summer, possibly a wide forward / attacking player around the 20 million mark. I think that was David Maddock, if memory serves me correct. So my question is this. If we're not going for Nicolas Pepe, if we're not going for Bruno Fernandes, which it doesn't look like either, then who does that leave you with? I bring you back to the two gentlemen we spoke about time and time again, and that is Ziyech and that is Fekir. They're the only ones in the rough range of price that dominate, or that Maddock was talking about, that we could possibly go for. And I've so much to tell you about our finances and so many bits and pieces to talk about with regards to why we aren't short of money. There's definitely money available there. Liverpool have money to go and spend without a shadow of a doubt. Pepe would be perfect, said Max McGeevan. He can rotate with the front three. When Salah and Mane have a quiet spell, give him time on the bench. Prez Salah said Pepe 70 million, Ziyech 30 million, Fekir 50 mil. There's no way Fekir's going to cost 50 mil, by the way, mate. You get Fekir for about 25 to 30 million. He's got 1 year left on his deal. AC Milan were linked with him for, as I said before, 26, 27 million quid. There was talk of Suso being included in that deal as well, which was interesting. Timo Werner's gone really quiet as well, Danny. Danny said really want Timo Werner but don't think it's happening. Nothing. It's so quiet, and like Timo Werner isn't involved in any international competition. So for Timo Werner to be this quiet, it is strange when he's got 1 year left on his Leipzig contract. Lots of rumours doing the rounds that Bayern Munich want him. Bayern Munich are willing to hold out, as I've said time and time again, and try and pick him up next year. I told you guys about this a couple of weeks ago, but it looks like Adrian Rabiot was about to sign for Juventus. That seems like it's very close to happening. Original Gunners in the house, how are you, sir? Want to get your thoughts, mate, while I have you in on the whole Aubameyang situation and the whole Wilfried Zaha situation. What's your take on this? And I see Boya's in as well, mate. How are you? If you guys are like me, as I keep saying, you love a good football account, go over and follow Leicester City FC Boya, a really, really good lad and runs a really good YouTube account. Right, what else we got? I wouldn't mind Ziyech. I'd rather him than Fekir, said Anthony Cronin. Find me someone to sign Michael motherfucking Edwards right now, said Mr. Stevie Richards. We'll get somebody, mate. Relax. We're definitely going to get somebody in. Fekir will cost 26 million, said Tybach, and that is my understanding of it as well, mate. That's a figure that it seems like Leon are willing to at least entertain doing business at. It's like everyone is waiting for the first move in the Premier League to sell it all off, said Farwell. Yeah, that is true. A few other bits and pieces as well on that. On people waiting for stuff to happen. It looks like Romelu Lukaku could be off to Inter Milan on what is being touted as a 2-year loan deal to start with, worth 9 million quid, and then I think it's 54 million after the 2 years, which suggests that it's something to do with getting around FFP for Inter Milan, or yeah, well look, there is no other way about it. It looks like it's something to do with trying to move money around so they can satisfy their FFP regulations or their FFP criteria. We weren't signing Allison, we weren't signing Virgil van Dijk either. FSG feeding journalist stories to keep everybody guessing. I don't disagree with that, Jared, mate. I don't disagree with it. I never want to say that a journalist will willfully say anything that isn't true, because I 100% believe that all the British journalists that cover the patch, Paul Joyce, Melissa Reddy, James Pearce, David Maddock, that they're honest. I fully believe they're all honest people, and none of them are out there on a wind-up. I wouldn't dare question their integrity like that. If they are told something from the club in good faith, then they pass that on. It could be that there's a media game going on here. I absolutely get it. There could be, and it's happened before. As you've said, we could point to many examples of where we said we're not signing players. I mean, we go right back to Brendan Rodgers when leaks were everywhere, and he came out and said we weren't signing Mario Balotelli, and then a couple of weeks later, there's Mario Balotelli. What else we got? AC Milan banned from Europe. Yes, we can touch on that as well. Their place is going to be taken Well, there's two answers to this, I suppose. Roma have been pushed forward, so they're going to automatically go into the Europa League. But Torino now move up a place as well, and Torino will be in the qualifying for the Europa League. So AC Milan came to a settlement with UEFA with regards to FFP, which means that they're basically stepping away from European competition for a year, which means Torino and Roma will be going into the Europa. Lukaku going to Inter, his first touch will be to take him to Napoli. He's got an awful first touch, mate. He really does. What was everyone's views on the Salah rumours that he might leave at the end of the season? By that, Peter, mate, do you mean the end of the season coming? Because I had read a few things on that, if I'm being honest. Nothing concrete I want to add, but yeah, there has been some talk that Mohamed Salah might leave at the end of next season. Now, again, it's a whole year away. Anything can happen in that year. Let's wait and see. Hashtag Mbappe 2020. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. It's not all I'm saying, though. I'm going to get to more Mbappe stuff later on. Getting Van den Berg blows buying the lit out of the water. Do you know what? I have to say, everything, and I mean everything I've read about Sepp Van den Berg has been glowing. And the fact that Bayern Munich tried to hijack the deal when he was at Melwood or when he was doing his medical lets you know how highly he's thought of around Europe. So yeah, getting him in, mate, as you've said, happily eggs, and having Kiana Hoover there, having Joe Gomez there, having Virgil van Dijk, of course, who's I think 27, if memory serves correct. It just lets you know we're hoovering up. Excuse a pun there. Is it a pun? I don't know. Excuse the shitty fucking choice of phrase anyway. We're hoovering up the best talent, and we're going to give them a pathway through. And it's what you want to see. It's good to see. Now, I've read other things that suggested that Van den Berg is not brought in for the under-23s, which I originally thought, that he's there to challenge for a starting place, or at least, a place on the bench in the front, or in the first four of the centre-back options. Then we kind of circle back around to the whole stuff around Dejan Lovren. Will he or won't he move on this summer? It's gone very quiet. I've not read anything new to suggest that AC Milan or Lazio or any other Italian teams have placed a bid with Liverpool. We know from reading that the number seems to be 25 million that Liverpool value him at, roughly there or thereabouts. It's official, Lille bought Timothy Weah. Is that the guy from PSG, mate? Was he on loan at Celtic this season? Now, I think they're the right guy, Mr. Wijnaldum. But yes, they did buy him. I did see that one. That is true. How did AC Milan get banned from Europe because they spent too much money? City are still safe. Right. I want to clear up something on this because I understand where people are coming from with regards to the Manchester City side of this. Let me just say that this stuff from AC Milan is from last year. That's how long this has taken. So AC Milan received a 1-year ban, and they appealed that to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. That was overturned, and I believe, from my limited understanding of this situation, that was then appealed by UEFA, and they came to an agreement basically that's seen AC Milan withdraw from Europe. Technically withdraw, although it is a ban, if we're being realistic about it. It certainly looks like a ban to it from an outsider's perspective. So yeah, it looks like that they're going to take that ban on the chin for one season, get their house in order financially, and then they can move on with almost a clean slate, I suppose. Now, from Manchester City's perspective, there's something on this that I want to talk about. I'm not qualified to talk about football finance, far from it, but I was listening to a very good episode of the Echo's Blood Red podcast the other day, and in this particular episode they had on a football finance expert called Kieran Maguire. If you guys get a chance, this podcast is free and it's out there, and if you're intrigued by football finance and the situation with Liverpool's potential spending, the money we've brought in, and a little bit on Manchester City as well, I highly recommend checking this one out. So there was two different things in particular that caught my ear with this podcast. Firstly, Kieran Maguire mentioned that if Jurgen Klopp so wanted to, he could easily go out and drop 150 million again this summer, because Liverpool are in a financial position where that wouldn't be detrimental to us. We could get away with that. We've brought in that much money that he could spend 150 million if he wanted to. Now, park that up, because we'll circle back around to that in a minute. This is the part that leads to Manchester City, that kind of leads into the conversation we're having. And this is really, really interesting to me. So, how do I phrase? I've been worried about all day about how I'm going to say this because I don't want to get in trouble. But I suppose I'm kind of quoting from the podcast. So here we go. Manchester City hired the gentleman that helped write the rules for UEFA, for FFP, for financial fair play. So the guy that helped write those rules is now Manchester City's finance director, or a similar role, something along those lines. So if anybody knows how you could possibly circumvent or potential loopholes that are in financial fair play or the laws that govern financial fair play, it would probably be the motherfucker that wrote them or helped write them. So in any other business in the world, and I think they might have mentioned this on the pod, it would be kind of a clever thing to do. But in football, if you're a City fan, you're probably going, yeah, that's a clever thing to do. But if you're an outsider, you're looking at that and going, pile that on top of all the stuff from Der Spiegel, pile that on top of all the other bits and pieces that we've heard, and pile that on top of the money that seems to be coming from Sheikh Mansour, or is alleged to be coming from Sheikh Mansour. It's not a fucking great look, is it? If we're being honest about this, it's not a great look at all that Manchester City hired the guy that wrote or helped write the rules for FFP or the laws of FFP for UEFA. Look, I'll let you guys discuss this and say whatever you want. I just want to try and give the basic facts on it that I heard on the podcast, and we will circle back around to Jurgen Klopp's spending power in a minute. But for this brief section of the podcast, just give me your thoughts on this Manchester City thing. Maybe some of you guys listen to it. I don't know. If you didn't, it's a very good podcast. What have we got here? May Craig, be yourself. Manchester City can go fuck themselves, said Domestic Butler. Manchester City Plastic Charlie, said Stephen Richards. Mr. Roberts is in. How are you, Jace? Escapado said, if we don't make a signing to cover the front three this season, we best pray we didn't get an injury for the front three. I agree with that. I agree with every word you've written. We have to sign somebody to help cover the front three. We've got Ryan Brewster, we've got Divock Origi, but still, there is a potential drop off there. And we were lucky that we didn't pick up many injuries. City hired the Von Braun of FFP to figure out how to try and skirt the rules, said Far Isle. That's a conflict of interest, said Paul Ward. Well, legally it must be okay, or they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have made the appointment, but it doesn't look great for outsiders to really unknowledgeable, ignorant people like myself. It doesn't look great. And when you have a football finance expert that believes it's worth discussing, you probably think maybe he thinks, not putting words in the gentleman's mouth, but as I said, it does not look great. So you're saying City are greasing the right people's backs. Agreed, said Peter van der Schaans. What I'm saying is, if I wanted to commit a crime of a specific nature, and I know that I could hire a lawyer who helps, say, the government write the rules for this specific crime that I was thinking of committing, he'd probably know the answers that I should be given, or the things I shouldn't be saying, or potential ways for me to get a lesser sentence, shall we say. I think we can all probably say that might be okay. What I'm saying there might make sense. Love to know Manchester City's wage bill. That's probably out there somewhere, roughly. Now, you can never get these things to a T. Notice City run their traps about suing, but they haven't done so because once the prosecution demands discovery and integrities, they're sunk. Yeah, look, sometimes when people are accused of things, how they respond to it is very intriguing. Now, with the Der Spiegel articles in particular, why is it every time I say Der Spiegel I hear a gong in my head? Anyway, with the Der Spiegel articles in particular, what we heard was these were illegally obtained, these documents were illegally obtained. Wasn't hearing very much about the stories being bullshit. Wasn't hearing very much about anything other than how they were obtained. Again, if I've missed something, I apologise. I don't know. I'm just a fan. I don't claim to be an expert. Anything I'm giving here is purely my opinion. Any updates on Bruno Fernandes? He won't be coming to Liverpool. He never was going to be coming to Liverpool from what I'd gathered and from what I'd been saying. I'd never seen any genuine links. The only thing that happened was the odds went down that time when we were speaking during the week. They went to like 1-9 on. Now, whether that was just because a flood of money hit the market on him signing, I don't know. Mark is very confident he's signing for Manchester United. That's all I can say. Other than that, I genuinely don't know. But it doesn't look like it. There's no links showing that the deal to take Rafa Camacho back to Sporting Lisbon has anything to do with any potential Bruno Fernandes deal to Liverpool. Bernadette Farrell said, Craig, just read Man United are spending 200 million in the transfer window, so don't think it guarantees instant success this season. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Now, Manchester United are a club that have a lot of money. They generate an awful lot of income. They are one of the real powerhouses in world football when it comes to generating money. They needed a squad overhaul. They will probably move on a couple of big earners as well this year. But for me, no matter what they do, when we spoke about Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's a good fullback. Credit where it's due. He's a good, decent young player. He's not finished article yet, but why would he be at his age? He's a good, decent player. I'm not going to belittle the signing of him because I think as a fan, money doesn't matter. Whatever he was signed for, it doesn't really give. They won't give a shit in 6 months' time. They'll just judge him on whether he's been a good player or not. So they've signed him. They've signed that young kid James from Swansea. They're looking at Longstaff, I think, as well from Newcastle. They're trying to change how they go about doing their business now. From the little bits, obviously I don't follow too much what Manchester United do, but their fans aren't happy with the way things are being negotiated or how long they're taking. There's a massive rebuilding job to be done at both Real Madrid and Manchester United. Two big clubs in world football. You look at Real Madrid and they've brought in a man who won 3 Champions Leagues with them. A man who knows the club inside out, having played there and managed there, being successful, is a massive personality. Still a little bit wet behind the ears when it comes to managerial experience, but still has enough that he won 3 Champions Leagues. Do you know what I mean? So we're not talking about a fool here. And he will have had conversations with the president of Real Madrid about what needs to be done. I believe Zinedine Zidane does hold some power there. Whereas I look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United and I genuinely still see a club that seems to be trying to change the way they go about stuff, but still doesn't have a clear pathway of what they want to do. There's talk that they're about to pay, what's his fucking name, Rashford, 250 grand a week, something along those lines. You have Sanchez on 400 grand a week. I think Pogba's on around 300 grand a week. Can anybody say that those players have earned that type of money? Because I can't. I can't say that Marcus Rashford's a 250 grand a week player from what he's done. Far from it. He's a good, young, promising player. Plenty of potential there. I just don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the man to do it. So, to answer your question, I suppose, Bernadette, they can spend a lot of money, but it's still going to take a couple of seasons. Did you guys see there was a good piece tweeted by, God, I can't remember who tweeted this now. It might have been Riddock. Somebody on social media tweeted about Jose Mourinho talking about an interview that he gave where he said that one of the most important things that he did when he was managing Porto was to manage to keep the team together. So that team that went and won the Europa League then kept playing together and went and won the Champions League. And that's important because he said sometimes when he looks at teams, let's say Spurs as an example, or maybe Liverpool this summer, and Mourinho, and I don't like to give Mourinho credit, but credit where it's due on this one, he said sometimes it's just as important for a team not to sell any of their big players and keep the core that was successful together, particularly through their prime. And I thought that was very good. I thought it was a very fair point from Jose Mourinho. And I still think we need to add, but we are also in a good position where there's been very few murmurings of us losing any players this summer that we don't want to lose. The clubs have tried to unsettle. Clubs have tried to unsettle Mane, Firmino and Salah, but it's been rebuffed fairly quickly. So Gaming Guy said Terry from the Football Terrace made a video about football finance. He's an expert. He's an expert in the area. Let me talk to you for 1 second about Mr. Terry from the Football Terrace. You guys keep mentioning this gentleman to me, and I kept telling you I've had no dealings with him. I can't really judge. Now I have a reason to talk about Terry from the Football Terrace. Let me first say that he's a cunt. Let me just start off with that. You're a cunt, Terry, if you're watching this. You know why. I'm about to explain why. I tweeted something the other day. There was a video doing the rounds of somebody saying Liverpool fans talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold forgetting that Marcus Rashford did this to him. It wasn't from Terry now. I don't know what United account it was from. So I tweeted back saying only one of these two wants 300 grand a week to play in the Europa League banter club. You know, football banter on Twitter, as you do. Then today I get up and I see a reply from this fucking no-mark from the Football Terrace, this mouthy gobshite. And he said, why are you quoting the Sun? That's disgraceful. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing this, but the gist of what he said is he accused me of taking the story about Rashford earning or looking to earn 300 grand a week from the Sun, and he accused me of quoting the Sun. Now, firstly, I tweeted back to show that it was taken originally from the Sunday Mirror. I actually think I seen it on Sky, but I think one of the original stories came out in the Sunday Mirror. So I gave him a chance to apologise. I tweeted him and I said, you're clearly wrong here. Feel free to apologise. As Liverpool fans, you know the lowest thing somebody can say to you is that you work with the Sun. Even saying the fucking name makes me feel ill. So let's just call them the Rag. You work with the Rag, you quote the Rag, you share the Rag story, you used an image from the Rag. He knew what he was doing, and he knows that he was wrong. Now, I've been respectful up until this point because I don't know this dude. I don't know him from Adam. But if you're going to come at me, you better have the balls to back it up. That's one thing I will say. I don't look for trouble. But Mr. Terry from the football, whatever the fuck your show was called, the Football Terrorist, which by the way is a shite name for a channel. Let me just put that out there. Shite name. I don't know you from Adam, mate. But what you'll soon fucking find out about me, pal, is that 1, I don't back down. 2, I don't say things that I can't or will not back up. And 3, I will make your shitty little channel relevant. I will give you the exposure that you're probably hoping for here, mate. But you best fucking apologise, or when you see me, say exactly what you're after saying to my face, my friend. Because that is low. Very fucking low. I wouldn't say that to another Liverpool fan. Let me tell you what level I put this on. I said this to Connor earlier on. I put this as somebody having a go at my wife and kids. That's kind of level of low life that I put this fucker at for what he said. And I gave him all day to apologise. I gave him all fucking day to apologise. And he seems that he hasn't got the decency in him. And he was pulled up on it by a few other people that knew that he was wrong and that what he was saying was complete bullshit. So yeah, from somebody who I knew nothing about now, I think that basically he is scum. He is a prick. He is a mouthy, gobby, attention-seeking little arsehole who clearly doesn't like Liverpool. That's alright. He's a United fan. He's not supposed to, but he knew what he was doing when he said what he said. You're after getting the reaction you probably hoped for, mate, but I look forward to the day our paths cross, Terry, and the day that you get to say this to my face, standing 6 inches in front of me, mate, because I'll give you that fucking opportunity. I promise you that. I'm going to put this to bed now, and I'm going to move on, because I feel like his shitty Twitter account, what seems to be a shitty channel, I feel like I've given them enough of my fucking time right now. As I say before, I'm all about love. I'm all about spreading happiness and positivity, and I went out of my way to say that I couldn't badmouth this guy because you guys have been bitching about him on here, and I've kept saying the same thing. I don't know the guy, can't speak about a channel I don't know anything about. Well, I had my first taste of him today, and I don't fucking like it very much, let's put it that way. I'm going to move on now because I don't want to get angry. It's Saturday, I should be relaxed and having fun. But yeah, so anyway, here we go. Let's get through some of your comments. He's the biggest troll around, said Mr. Bud. Terry, yeah. Boxing match. There wouldn't be a boxing match, to be fair, Harry. I would bitch slap him. There wouldn't even be a boxing match. I'm not a hard man. Far from it. But I can tell a bullshit artist when I see one because I'm one myself a lot of the time. And I know that lad's a gobby prick, so... yeah, so fuck him, basically. Sorry, my phone's after... Oh, yeah, sorry, my phone's after lighting up there. Go, Craig, go. I can hear him over the mayhem here. Look, as you guys know, I never seek out anybody. The only person I've ever spoken badly about was Mr. Double Initials. And even at that, I draw a line because I don't know him. This lad's attacked me. He's attacked my integrity, I should say. He's gone the lowest that he could possibly go. Yeah, let's see if he has anything about him. Let's see if he has the decency to admit that he was wrong. And I'll accept his apology if and when said apology comes. But if it doesn't, you better fucking hope we never cross paths someday. Don't consider that a physical threat because I don't condone physical violence. I wouldn't threaten anybody physically, but I will fucking have my say. That much I can promise you. Shite name, shite show, said Paul Turner. What's the Mbappe thing? I'll get to that. Don't worry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I will get to Mbappe. Much respect, Craig. Give us your top 4 prediction for next season. It's really difficult to say, Saif, because I want to see what business is done before I make a decision. I think Liverpool, Spurs, Manchester City are going to be nailed on for the top four. Then it's going to be down to, what Chelsea can do maybe under Frank Lampard, what business Arsenal might do, and of course how United start the season. Relax, Craig, don't stress. I'm not at all stressed. I promise you that, George. I got my little rant out. I got my say. I'm not stressed. People say shit sometimes to try provoke reactions. He got his reaction. That's all I'm going to say in it. I'll put this to bed now. I'm not going to mention him again unless, of course, he comes back, in which case, fair enough. Be Liverpool fan taking a piss out of the Munich air crash. Yes, it is fucking disgusting. And any Liverpool fan who would even dare is a scumbag as well. We've spoken about this before. Hillsborough, Munich, all that stuff is off bounds, as it rightly should be. And not even from a football fan perspective, not even from a Liverpool United rivalry, just from a fucking basic human decency type of level here. Mohammed said, fell in love with you. Mate, love you too. Thank you so much for coming onto the stream. He's a keyboard warrior hiding behind a screen. Yeah, possibly, but I'm alright, Bernard. I'll play the long game on this one. I can fight on the undercard to the original gunner. Nah, look, fighting is never the way to solve these things. As you guys know, I went to a show last night. I went to a comedy show and I actually heard some really good wisdom on that show. And I think it applies to this. If somebody tries to attack you with half-truths, then you fucking destroy them with the full truth. There you go. I think that was Mr. Reginald D. Hunter spoke very wisely there. Even if saying the full truth might land you in a bit of trouble or reveal things you don't want revealed about yourself maybe. If somebody attacks you with a half-truth, you hit them back with the fucking truth, because you cannot argue with the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Terry's a very neutral fan, however that tweet is wrong. As I say, from a perspective of what he says and talks about on YouTube, I haven't got a clue. I've never watched 1 minute of his channel. Calm down, don't let him anger you. Honestly, guys, I am calm. You guys who watch the streams regularly know when I get angry, I get angry. Like I'm not. He's not worth me getting angry about. Anyway, what's the story with the Uruguay game? Is it still 1-0? Can we get on that one? People want to know about Mbappe. So right, let me circle back around to Kylian Mbappe, and it kind of leans into what I spoke about with this gentleman, Kieran Maguire, who's the football finance expert that was on that very good episode of the Blood Red podcast. So this summer it's looking like Liverpool won't be hugely busy. We might do a few little bits and pieces, but it's looking like we won't be massively busy. But hashtag Mbappe 2020, where I've spoken about this before. Look, I know it's far-fetched. I'm well aware of what I'm saying is far-fetched, but just bear with me. Just roll along a little bit and we see how this works out. So we know Liverpool have a kit sponsorship deal, or kit manufacturer deal that's up for renewal this coming season. This is our last season as things stand with New Balance. A lot of murmurings that Nike are the front runners, Nike and Adidas going head to head, and that Nike may be the front runners for this deal. We know Kylian Mbappe is a Nike ambassador or a Nike product. I don't know what you want to call it. He's sponsored by Nike. And Nike, I don't know what the exact phrase is, but he's a Nike athlete, I think is a fair thing to say. Now, I know PSG are a Nike club as well, but look, let's be fair about this. Liverpool are a fucking much bigger club than Paris Saint-Germain. The only issue I can see about this possible potential deal, and we've seen a bit of flirting from Mbappe, and we've seen Mbappe come out and say that he's, or at least a lot of reports suggest that he's not signing a new deal at Paris Saint-Germain, that he wants out of there because he can't see himself winning the Champions League anytime soon there, and he believes to win the Ballon d'Or, which is his aim as one of the top footballers in the world, that he wants to win the Champions League. So then you ask yourself, right, where do Liverpool stand potentially in this whole scenario? With back-to-back Champions League finalists, we've just won one. Our finances are pretty healthy. I spoke a few minutes ago about the fact that this gentleman, Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, said if Jurgen Klopp wanted to, he could drop 150 million this summer, and we could swallow that as a club. So then it brings you around to Kylian Mbappe and his potential cost in 2020, let's say. Let's go with 200 to 250 million pound. Can we afford that? Yes, to an extent. Might take a little bit of rejigging, might have to move on some younger players or some fringe players, but we could probably afford that. And then it comes down to wages. And at a guess, from the numbers I've seen floating around, 400 grand a week, which would maybe unsettle our top earners at the club. That's understandable. But you are talking about a massive, massive, massive name. How big of a statement would this be for our club? Could Nike play a part in this? Could Nike perhaps help grease the wheels? I don't know if that is what's done in football. I'm not privy to the inside dealings of a football club, but there's a few dots that could be joined there. It's far-fetched. I'll give you that one. It's definitely far-fetched. I'm not saying it's happening. Far from it. But it's doable. It's definitely doable. We know Jurgen Klopp thinks very highly of Kylian Mbappe. Clearly, Kylian Mbappe seems to hold Liverpool in a fairly high regard. Spoke about them using them when he plays FIFA. Been picked up with a few Liverpool players lately. I've said before, I'm cynical. And these things don't happen for a reason. It's not a fluke that he's met Daniel Sturridge. It's not a fluke that he was with LeBron James. It's not a fluke that he spoke about playing Liverpool at FIFA. It's not a fluke that he spoke about having to win the Champions League to win the Ballon d'Or the year we've won the Champions League. That still doesn't mean anything. But it just lets you know it's not too far away. It's not a million miles out of the realm of possibility. For speaking about this 2 or 3 years ago, we're all sitting here going, not a hope in hell. Not an absolute hope in hell. But where we are right now, the money we're bringing in, how attractive we are to sponsors, a new kit manufacturer deal coming up, you never know. You just never know. And the talk that potentially, let's add into this again, the talk that potentially Mohamed Salah might move on at the end of next season. Now, I hope to God he doesn't. I love Mo, I love Sadio Mane, and I love Bobby Firmino. But potentially, if he did move on, if Mo moved on, and none of us want him to, but if he did, you're talking 100, 150 million. You're talking big wages off the books. Again, it doesn't take a lot of thinking to think that this might be doable. Nike might say to Liverpool, if we get Mbappe, you take our deal, said Neil Anthony. I have no idea, mate. I wished I knew how big deals like this worked. And him meet LeBron James, the most famous shareholder, while wearing the Reds hat, said Harry Wilkinson. Not a fluke about saying he doesn't see PSG as his future, said Far Isle. We shouldn't be looking at Mbappe, said Happily Eggs. We should be looking for the next Mbappe. But yeah, that's a fair point, mate, and we can do that. And we've been doing that defensively with Kiana Hoover and Sepp Vandenberg, and we have Ryan Bruce there. But there's nothing wrong with going out there and getting the best as well, if you can afford it. We've often spoke about Liverpool being a club that don't buy stars, we make stars. And that is romantic to an extent, but if you're in a position where you can buy them as well, why not? Would be my question. Why not? You're talking about Pepe, and I've seen other YouTube channels, us and Pepe. I thought it said Pepe rumours were fake and we have no interest. We spoke about Pepe already at the start, mate. And to just quickly go back over it, bear with me 2 seconds, I want to get my notes up. So Sega Diallo said that he wants to move to a club in England. He has his heart set on a move to England. And then Mohamed Bouafsi, and excuse me if I've mispronounced that gentleman's name, respected journalist from France, then quote tweeted that with the the googly eyes emoji, as if the looking around eyes, like as if say oh. And there was, I think, some tweets from him before linking Liverpool. Now look, I've caveated that by saying that Melissa Reddy has said that Liverpool contacted Lille to say that they'd no interest, and I always would take Melissa Reddy at her word because I respect Melissa Reddy. That's all I can say on that one. Do you see the youth keeper? We tweeted a gif of Mbappe, then deleted it 20 minutes later. I didn't, Andres. No, mate, I didn't see it. If our players hold Mbappe in high regard, they might want him in the team. The wage bill won't bother them. Yeah, there is that as well, Bernadette. There is that. Real Madrid put in a bid for Salah after the European Cup for 150 million, but Salah said he didn't want to move this season, said PDK. Harold Steptoe said, how long will it be before a woman is manager of Liverpool? I don't know, mate, but why Liverpool? Why don't we broaden the question and say, how long will it be before a lady is managing a top flight Premier League club or European club? I don't see any reason why it can't or won't happen. Like in any other industry, you just want the best person for the job. If that person's a female, great. If it's a male, great. As a Liverpool fan, I just want the best coach suited to our team that we can get. I don't give a shit if it's male, if it's female. If I couldn't care, to be honest. I just want the best person for the job, and I'm sure most football fans would want the same. Maybe Mbappe saw the parade and was hooked. Maybe. Who wouldn't be? I mean, I watched a bit of it back on LFC TV again. It still makes me smile. If we go far in the Champions League again and win the league this season, we would certainly be an extremely attractive destination, said Far Isle. Question for those in the chat, said Big LC. If Madrid gave a €150 million offer for Mane and Salah, which one would you be accepting? You have to accept one. I would sell Salah over Mane, mate. That's my answer to that question. Love them both immensely, but I'm giving you an honest answer to a question. I don't think 150 would buy €150 million, by the way. I don't think that will buy them. I think if that was pounds, there's a conversation to be had. Announced Fekir, said that is it David or David? Excuse me, mate, if I've mispronounced your name. Signing Mbappe would have a seismic impact on the squad. There'd be a queue of players asking for wage parity if we were to pay him silly money. Well, what we do know about Liverpool's contract is that we're good at selling players a vision, and we're good at saying to players, look, if you come in and you do what you believe you can do, what we believe you can do, we'll reward you financially. You will get paid what you're worth, but show us that you're worth that. Now, if you're breaking a world record fee for a transfer, which we'd probably be close to doing if you were to go and sign Kylian Mbappe, you're going to have to give him a lot of money. But maybe it could be incentivised. Maybe there could be other bits and pieces. I mean, if his genuinely, if his ambition is to go and win a Champions League and he believes he could fulfil that ambition at Liverpool and win the Ballon d'Or, then, you know, we're all assuming that money is the only motivator here. Maybe it isn't. He would have to be looked after. Of course he would. And he would deserve to be looked after with a good financial package, but it might not be the only motivation for him. He's still a very, very young man. Lots of money still to earn in his career. If we want Mbappe, we need to sign the Nike deal. But if we want great, amazing kits, then Adidas. I kind of agree about the kits, mate. I'm not a fan of Nike kits. Chris Powell said, so as we won the Champions League, we should make the most out of this, getting top players in. Say we have an average season and top players may not be so sure to join. Well, we won't have an average season, I don't think, Chris. We have the same great group of players that we had last season. We have Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. You know who we have to come back in as well. Maybe Adam Lallana to try and get his fitness back up. So there's more bodies there if we don't pick up injuries. Of course we will pick up some injuries. It's just a matter of how serious they might be. But, you know, I don't think we're going to have an average season. Things are pretty damn good at Liverpool at the minute. Russ said, would you take Coutinho back? Ideally, no, Russ. But, you know, never rule out anything in football. If he came back and it was a decent deal, I wouldn't be totally against it, mate. I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I'm a football fan. I think it's inherently built into a lot of us. If he comes back and starts sticking them in top corner or setting up Mo Salah and Sadio Mane every 2 days, then, you know, we'd get over it quick enough, wouldn't we? Is Keita injured again? Sort of, I think, is the only answer I can give you. He said he was examined by Liverpool's doctor yesterday, I think, at his press conference, and I'm unsure if he's going to play for Guinea tomorrow. It looks like Guinea may go out of the African Cup of Nations, so that means, you know, he'd be back and he'd be able to get back working with our fitness team. What else we got? 500 and something people watching now. How are we? I hope you're all having a lovely Saturday. If you are enjoying the stream, please do hit that subscribe button. What else have we got? Sell Mane, easier to replace. I don't know. There's something about Sadio Mane. He's capable of, like, they're both amazing footballers, don't get me wrong. For me, I just think Sadio's capable of the extraordinary a little bit more than Mo, perhaps. That probably doesn't even make sense because they both score great goals. I guess it's just a personal preference, mate. What was the score of the Uruguay-Peru game, by the way? Can somebody let me know on that one? Coutinho has the X factor, said Garrett Peterson. If we get Fekir, Ziyech, Pepe, Fernandes, Maddison or Coutinho, I'd be more than happy. Look, I'm going to be honest about this. I'd absolutely love Nabil Fekir. I'm still going to go on this. And while we're talking about potential incomings, Ziyech. So it had been widely reported that Hakim Ziyech had a release clause of €30 million. Well, it seems that might not be the case. From doing a little bit of reading, it seems that Ajax are similar to Liverpool in that they usually don't include release clauses in players' contracts. That being said, it does seem like 30 million is a figure that Ajax are willing to at least entertain when it comes to Hakim Ziyech, because there's a couple of clubs that are apparently looking at him or in negotiations around that price point. So 30 million euro I think it was, does seem possible. And Fekir, as we know, 26.7 million is the rumoured amount that AC Milan are happy to bid for him. So again, they're both kind of in that 20 to 30 million bracket we spoke about. Peru won on penalties. Holy shit. Claire, you must be absolutely over the moon. Well done. Congratulations to you. For those that don't know, Claire Dean lives in Peru. She's over there with Paddington Bear. She's his personal escort. And by escort, I mean up the Andes. I don't mean in... I put my foot in it, Claire, haven't I? I put my foot in it, mate. I'm sorry. You know I meant escort as in up those mountains. Oh, silly me. I do apologise, Claire. But well done on Peru winning. Who would you sign that we've been interested in? Ziyech, Fekir. If we're talking about this bracket, over and above that, I still think Timo Werner. I'm just a sucker for Fekir, mate. I just really want Fekir. Sarabia said, I have to pick up my wife from work and leave the chat in a few minutes. Mate, look after your wife. Go get your wife. Do you know what I mean? Happy wife, happy life. Paddington did it, mate, said Claire. There you go. The Mane work rate and versatility would be so hard to replace or replicate, said Jace. No doubt he benefited from extra attention on Salah this season, but regardless, he's the talisman of our front line. I think he's been great this season, Jace. I think he's been absolutely quality. Koulibaly would be a perfect signing for Liverpool, said Joel Morris. He would, mate, but it feels weird to say this, but I don't think we need Koulibaly. He's an excellent footballer, but I think Ancelotti basically gave an ultimatum to Napoli to say, you sell him and you can forget about it. Like, oh, I'm off, basically, if my memory serves me correct. Louise is living it up in Blackpool. I hope she has a wonderful time, Stephen. No doubt it's well deserved. No need to compare Salah and Mane. They're both staying, said Banter. I agree, and I'm happy that they're both going to be here. How great is it? I mean, if we push aside all the transfer talk, how great is it that there is nothing really? In previous seasons, we would have been worried that we might lose Salah, we might lose Mane, we might lose Firmino, excuse me. Or, well, include Fabinho if you want, but Firmino is what I meant to say. There's nothing. It's absolutely, none of us have any doubt in our minds that they're staying this season, and that's something to celebrate. As I said, you can't belittle continuity, and we've seen with Spurs sometimes continuity is good in itself, and the players knowing their jobs, knowing what's expected of them, knowing each other, that can be massively beneficial. Whereas all the transfers, very boring summer so far. One or two will come, mate. Other than that, I can't really give you an answer. I think it's just because we've so long between the season ending and the start of the Premier League, because I don't know, last year was it last year the World Cup? There was stuff to get you through the summer, whereas it feels like an eternity now. And there's very little in the media to suggest who we're actually interested in. Is Fernandes even linked? It's weird, Mossy, because the odds are so low, but I genuinely feel that he will end up at United. And as I said, many Manchester United fans, Mark Goldbridge included, seem very confident. Mark, I think, said that he was told back in March that Fernandes is very likely to go to Manchester United. So I don't know, mate, is the honest answer. I haven't seen a genuine link that would make me say, yep. But then again, I haven't seen a genuine link to anybody this summer. We're not worried anymore because we're the best club in the world right now, said Banter. Yeah, we are. 6 of them. 6 of those European Cups. Peter Van der Shan said, I would say that the front three wouldn't be as effective if they moved to another club. They work well as a unit. Yes, and in that, people have said that maybe we need to get another number 9 because Bobby Firmino hasn't scored as many as other number 9s, but I keep saying the same thing. Firmino is about so much more than just sticking the ball in the net. He allows Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah to get the space that they have to penetrate teams, to be as effective as they are. Bobby Firmino is so important to everything that we do as a football club. The way we press, the way his movement is so clever. We defend from the front. I just love that man so much. I love everything about him. And for me, he's the one of the front three who I think we would find the hardest to replace. One good thing, no matter what Klopp does, we trust him, said Bernadette Farrell. Yep, and that is a very, very fair sentence, Bernadette, and something that he's absolutely earned. How could we not trust him? Look at the transfer business that he's done. Look at the improvements he's made. Peter O'Neill said, with Mane and Salah in the African Cup of Nations, who's going to start up front if we make no signing? Surely we can't rely on Origi and Brewster. It is a fair point, mate. Depending on when they get back, when are we starting? Talking about the 4th of August. Players will have to get 2 or 3 weeks holidays. Yeah, it's very tough. They probably won't be fit to start. Firmino is Firmino, so he may well start because he just has a ridiculous level of fitness, and Klopp rates everything about Bobby Firmino very highly. But you're right, it's a fair point, and we don't want to be going into the season with just, say, Origi, Brewster, or Shaqiri maybe. I mean, you could tinker with that front three a little bit and who you put in there, but it is a fair point, and it holds just as true if we pick up a serious injury to the front three. Now, I would also caveat that by saying no manager is going to sign players to cover a small window of time. That's just not realistic and not fair to the player and not fair to the team. But I can't sit here in good conscience and say that I don't think we need to sign an attacking player, whether it's a wide forward, whether it's back up to Bobby, whether it's an attacking midfielder. I don't know, but I do feel we do need to add something else there. Will I do a league prediction? Love your videos from Ireland. Thank you, Premier League fan. Sure, yeah. When the transfer window starts to ramp up a little bit, mate, and we know who's coming in, absolutely. Please do remind me, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want. It's your show. Again, for people who may be tuning in for the first time and are a little bit kind of like, what was that lad ranting about earlier on? I apologise to you guys if that offended anybody, but as I said at the time, I don't want to go back over it, but I'm very mindful of what I say on here. Sometimes I lose the rag and shit comes out, but as Liverpool fans, what somebody accusing you of what I was accused of by Mr. Man, I'm not even going to say his fucking name anymore, that was low and intentionally low and intentionally done for one thing. So I apologise if I offended anybody earlier on. The only person meant to be offended by that was the person in question. The rest of you guys I hold in very high esteem. I love that all you guys come in and give us your time, and I never want to offend any of you. So if that did offend anybody, please accept my apologies, because I love you guys, and you guys are the life and the lifeblood of this channel. I love Liverpool's transfer business at Kieran Singh. This year we're waiting for the domino effect with Neymar and Griezmann. It does look like Neymar is gone back to Barca, and it does look like Griezmann's on his way out as well. Or Griezmann, excuse me. Craig, will you do a podcast with guests guessing next season's table? Being realistic about that, Sean, as a standalone podcast, nobody would really listen to it, mate. From my experience of doing that type of thing before, we can definitely include it as a segment in the show, buddy, 100%. I just don't think it would be a good standalone segment. On that, I am recording a podcast on Monday with Dave and with Brian Morrissey. So if there's anything you guys would like included in it, let me know on Twitter. Hit me up on here now while we're live. Open to suggestions. We want to talk about the things you guys want us to talk about. Oh, McNeil said, this is my second time watching. Thank you, mate. I hope you're enjoying it. It's great to have you with us. I appreciate you giving us your time. Firmino is a link between midfield and attack, supplements the midfield while occupying defenders, dragging them out of position and creating space for Mane and Salah, plus scoring goals for himself. Invaluable, said Jace Roberts. Again, as always, I don't know how, Jace, but I very rarely disagree with you, mate. I agree with everything Jace has written there. What else we got? Nobody blames you for anything, said Owen. Thank you. I appreciate that. As I say, I don't ever intentionally look to start rows. I'm not really a confrontational person, believe it or not. As they say, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but I'm even a shit lover, to be fair. But I'm all about trying to spread positivity. I fucking love loving the world. And to anybody, by the way, I hope anyone that might from Ireland or Dublin that are watching that went up to Pride in Dublin today, I hope you had a great day. I know Ella went up. I know Ella was very proud to be standing on the GAA float. I think it was the GAA, the Gaelic Association, having their first float, or the first, is it a float, is that the right word, at Pride today, and Ella was carrying a banner at the front of that. So Ella, if you're watching, we're all fucking proud of you, mate. Well in. Yeah, well in. So proud of you, mate. I was so happy to hear that you had a good day today as well, and lots of love from, I know, everybody at Anfield Agenda, and anyone that went up to Pride today. I keep saying this time and time again, I don't judge anybody on anything other than how they are as a person, towards us, towards me. The world needs more love out there. I absolutely respect religious beliefs. I absolutely respect everybody's right to their own opinions. For me, I just want people to be happy. And if you love a man and you're a man, great. If you love a woman and you're a woman, great. I just want you to be happy, to experience love in your life, which will in turn, I think, make you a happier, better person. So again, just lots of love to everyone that's going up to Pride this weekend, and I hope you all have a great time. Craig, what did, I don't even want to say the name, the rag, say about, that's the thing for Google, Adam. I don't want to even address that subject and give that story the time of day, mate. If you get where I'm coming from, it's not for me. Sorry, I don't mean to belittle your question, mate. Fabinho's top 3 in his position. Genie's most versatile and the best hold-up play midfielder in England. I fucking love Fabinho, Trump. I absolutely love him. What a signing he was. The more, and like, to think that in November some people were going, Klopp just doesn't fancy him. And do you remember there was rumours linking him back to France, to Paris Saint-Germain, which himself and his missus came out and absolutely just poo-pooed. I love that. But yeah, what a player he is. I absolutely love Fabinho. Killer for Hire's in, buddy. How are you? Welcome. Gerrard or Souness? I didn't really catch much of Graham Souness, mate. So I'd have to say Stevie G. But, you know, from what I've watched and the few bits I've seen of Souness, he wouldn't last very long in today's game, let's put it that way. But what a player. What a hard man he was as well. What else we got? Mark 10 said we still have Shaqiri. Absolutely. I don't rate Shaqiri that highly personally. I think he's a great squad player to have. He's very versatile, and for the money we paid for him, it was a no-brainer. So when I say I don't rate him that highly, I just mean when we're, you know, talking about Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, Bobby Firmino levels. Heard you doing an interview with a woman a while back. She was all about stats. What was her name? She sounded like an interesting person. Probably Cash Boyle, I would imagine, mate. It's at Cash Boyle on Twitter, so CASHBOYLE. And Cash should be on again soon. I'm going to have her on for a chat, but she is a very interesting person, a very knowledgeable person. Somebody who studies law, somebody who's qualifying right now as a journalist, somebody who does stand-up comedy, and somebody who writes about football very well as well. So yeah, it's always a pleasure to have a chat with Cash. She is terribly, terribly impressive. I don't know where she gets the time from to do all the things that she does. What's the most juicy news of the night? Well, look, the only thing that I can say for certain tonight is that Divock Origi looks likely to sign a new 5-year deal at Liverpool Football Club. There's lots of things floating around today that said Origi's close to agreeing a deal. I even read one report, and I do apologise that I can't remember off the top of my head. I usually put it in a little note where this came from, but one report said the Klopp has even spoken with Divock Origi during his holiday to try and speed up the process or put the player's mind at ease of how highly valued he is at Liverpool. What we'd seen this summer is that Liverpool were never going to sell Divock Origi, even though he's got 1 year left on his contract, and there was interest from Real Betis. There was rumours of a £10 million bid coming in from them. Liverpool seemed to be briefing that no matter what happens, Divock Origi is going to be here next season. And I was grateful for that because, one, I think he's absolutely earned this new contract that's been put on the table now. Whether he's happy with that or not, that's his own personal business with his agent. But he's definitely earned the offer as far as I'm concerned. He still has some developing to do, but he has stepped up on big occasions this season. Most notably, of course, the Champions League semi-final, and the final, of course, with the decisive goal, or the goal to kill it off in the final against Spurs. So yeah, for me, Divock Origi absolutely deserves another 5 years, and I hope he signs it. I think he will sign it. I think it's going to be difficult for him to move on, and I think he's going to get enough games to keep him happy this season. We've spoken before about, players sometimes, or people say, well, if you have so many players, you can't keep them all happy. Winning keeps people happy. Winning trophies keeps people happy. And if we're doing that as a club, then people will be alright about getting maybe a few games less than they hoped. Okay, what else we got? Craig, you stood up for us, beautiful Reds. Massive respect. Thank you, Cam. Craig, you want people to be happy except for Everton fans, United fans and City fans. From a footballing perspective, yes, I want them all to be miserable, but as human beings, I wish them nothing but love. Could you do better link up between the front three this season? Or could do with better link up between our front three this season. It's interesting you say that, Patrick, mate. I've said this before on the stream, but for chance creation this season, our top three chance creators were Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I can't remember who was 2 and 3 in what order for Trent and Robbo, but basically our fullbacks were very important to the way we played this season and to our chance creation. So we weren't really trying to link up through the midfield too much in that we were going wide. I would like to see more goals from our midfielders this year, whether that be from late third man runs or maybe just a few long shots. I agree we could do with adding a few more goals from midfield because they weren't great, the numbers from midfield this season. Just joined, said Harvey Pepe, quick brief. Right, so Sega Diallo, who I think broke the Naby Keita story. I think it was a transfer recently enough anyway. He mentioned that Pepe has his heart set on a move to England, and then Mohamed Bouafsi quote tweeted that with the kind of googly eyes. Why do I keep doing that, by the way, when I'm describing it? And then I think Mohamed as well previously had spoken about links for Pepe to Liverpool. That's all there is, mate. There's nothing else really new on it. I just woke up today to a lot of notifications on my phone. Imagine Firmino playing behind as an attacking midfielder, said Chad Scott. Further back to start play up. Mbappe in the three up front. Mane, Salah, Mbappe, Firmino. Oh, mate. It's almost like porn, Chad, what we're talking about there. And then you still have the other options as well in behind. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Gini Wijnaldum. It's class, mate. I'm not going to lie. The thoughts of that would be class. Jace Roberts said Cash is great to listen to. She is, and I can tell you, apart from anything else, Cash Boyle is just one hell of a person. I'm proud to call her a friend. It's been a privilege getting to know her over the past couple of years. Love that Klopp is all about developing players and the system, said Cape Town Muslim. Craig is the Clyde Tidsdale, a Liverpool fan. I hope that's a compliment. I think it is, but thank you anyway, mate. I do enjoy having you in, by the way. I think you're relatively new to the channel. And I love that we get fans in from other clubs as well. You're obviously a massive Madrid fan, with your name being Ala Madrid. Thank you, mate. I appreciate you coming in and giving us your time. What player do you think has the most chance of going to Liverpool? Oh, honestly, my answer would probably still be Fekir or Werner or... I don't know. See, the Pepe thing, I genuinely don't know because I've seen feck all of them. I haven't watched Lille this year. When I watched French football, it was generally Paris Saint-Germain, Marseille, sometimes Monaco because they were in a bit of trouble at the start of the season, and Lyon. I didn't see any of Lille really, so I can't give an honest opinion of them. So yeah, I know that's not what people want to hear, but I'm trying to be honest. I miss the singing, Craig. I'm not singing, mate, that much I can promise you. Let's make sure City don't do a number on us like last season. 1 point, yeah. I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from, George. I hope it doesn't just come down to the 2 head-to-head games this season. But you're right, we do need to improve on that. 1 point, and we were lucky to get that point at home with Mahrez missing the penalty. There were small margins that the Eddie had, though, as we know. You don't need me to tell you about the ball hitting the post and whatnot. But yeah, sometimes, mate, small margins in football are massive. Mbappe to Liverpool, dream on, said Courtney Gardner. We're allowed dream, mate. We're football fans. If you want to piss all over those dreams and belittle them, that's absolutely your prerogative. But as football fans, we will continue to dream. Just like we dreamt to winning the Champions League this season, and poof, there it is. That many European Cups, Courtney. 6 of them. So I think we're allowed to dream as Liverpool fans. I think we've earned that right. Is there any chance of us signing Bruno? I don't know, Andre. Probably not. I think he's going to United by the looks of it, or at least they seem to be the ones in England who hold the most interest in him. Look, I will say this. I fully believe if Liverpool wanted Bruno Fernandes, he would be playing for Liverpool. If it came down to a choice between Manchester United and Liverpool, as things stand, as a footballer, pushing aside all the biases that we have, which club is the more attractive proposition for you to fulfil your ambitions right now? It's Liverpool. We can talk about storied histories, and I will never undermine what size of a club Manchester United are, but they have had a rocky few years. They are not currently playing in the Champions League, so there's instability there. So I firmly believe if we wanted him, we'd get him. I don't know if we do or don't. I don't think we do, but I don't know if we do or don't. Mbappe is the answer for City, said Mohammed. It looks like City have other priorities. Rodri is the guy from Atletico that we spoke about, that they were rumoured to be triggering his release clause to get him in as a long-term replacement perhaps for Fernandinho. Who was the other person that Manchester City were rumoured to be going for? They need a centre-back. Harry Maguire was the other name that they were looking at. So they have to be a little bit careful around FFP as well. Like any other club that are spending a lot of money, because you're talking 70 there and maybe 65, 70, 75 for Maguire. So that's a massive outlay as well. And I don't remember City selling many players for big money either. So again, that has to be addressed. Troll the Nation says we have bid for him. Who, mate? Who are we talking about here? If it's Fernandes and we're talking about that €45 million bid, I don't think we put that bid in, mate. Not if they're being briefed that the number is 65 or 70. But I know there's also a story out there that says something along the lines of any bid over 40 million that's refused, he gets 5 million. I don't know how fucking true that is either. We didn't sell Camacho to build relations. That is absolutely not true in any way, shape or form whatsoever. Rafael Camacho's gone back to a club that he came from. Basically, a club, well, he came from Manchester City, but he's gone back to a club that he started at. It's a club he chose to go to. Liverpool had very little negotiating power because he had 1 year left. He wanted to move on. We've moved him on. We've moved him on with a sell-on clause, it looks like. We've moved him on with for a pretty reasonable fee that could get a little bit higher. And I think a first refusal option as well. So I don't think it was done, in my opinion, to smooth over things at Sporting Lisbon at all. It was because that's what the player wanted. Could we be saving money for next season, said Mickey. That's kind of where I went to, mate, with the whole possible Mbappe thing. I know how far-fetched that sounds. I get it. Even saying it out loud to me sounds far-fetched. But why not? I keep going to come back and say why not. I don't know if we're saving money, or don't know if genuinely Klopp feels that this season a little bit of tweak and another addition to the front line perhaps, and I don't know what's going on with the potential backup fullback situation. I really do think we can now attract the biggest stars, said Chris Dwyer. Yeah, why not, Chris? Absolutely, mate. Fully agree with you. We are back-to-back Champions League finalists. We are the reigning European champions, and I'm not going to get sick of saying that. Alright, Troll the Nation, you've had your couple of minutes, mate. Now your comments are getting a bit annoying, so I think it's time for you to fuck off, if I'm being realistic. I see Brian's already removed your comments, so I don't know if he timed you out or not, but I've just kicked you out, so there you go. Arsenal can't even afford Harry Maguire. Yeah, it looks like the rumours about Arsenal are that they've got £40 million to spend, on top of obviously whatever they bring in. I don't know how true that is. Now, if they're looking to bring in Wilfred Zaha and they're looking to bring in Kieran Tierney, or is it Tierney? Kieran Tierney, yes, from Celtic, and they probably need a couple of more as well. What do? Do they sell Aubameyang to free up that money? I don't know. The question is, will Mbappe fit into the team? Well, yes, mate. I would say he's one of the best footballers in the world, so I would say he would fit in. It would have to mean that he would have the right attitude. I get where you're coming from. He would have to impress Jurgen Klopp in that regard. His football, I think, speaks for itself. But yeah, his attitude would have to be right. He'd have to be willing to work hard. He'd have to be willing to get up the Klopp levels of fitness. But him at full flow, mate, is terrifying. Terrifying. I spoke about when we played PSG. He was the player that worried me. Never mind Neymar. Never mind Cavani. It was all about Kylian Mbappe for me. That was the player that worried me when we played PSG. Craig Challenger said, if Robbo or Trent were ruled out, we'd struggle big time. It's a lot to ask for a deputy to step in and provide the same world-class service. Absolutely agree, Craig. Absolutely agree. But then again, where do you go for a backup in that regard? Like, who do you go for? It's very difficult to go out there and get a fullback. Look at what Manchester United are having to do. They're going to have to go out there and drop 50 million to get in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's a very good young up-and-coming fullback. But do we need to go and spend 50 million? I don't know, mate. We do know that the club rate Adam Lewis very highly. We had seen us linked to, what's the kid's name from Southampton again? Matt Targett, but then it looks like he could be on his way to Aston Villa. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that one. There was also rumours linking us to the other guy from Southampton who's Bertrand, which, they're not going to sell 2 left backs in this window. So I guess we're going to have to just wait and see what does happen. Original Gunner said, I want Tierney, Cahill, can't do any worse, Saliba and a winger will be a great window. Do you see Arsenal moving on anybody, mate? Are you worried about the whole stuff around Aubameyang? Firmino is top class, said Callum. Love him, mate. He's my favourite player at the football club. I absolutely love him. Okay, if we sign a striker like Pepe, who is not really a striker, but or Werner, would you play Bobby as a central attacking midfielder? No, to be honest, mate. I would probably. I know I sound like a broken record here, so forgive me, but I don't like us to think of this as a starting 11 when we're talking about our players or our squads at the minute. And I don't like to say, oh, we'll bring in X and drop Y, because it's a long ass season and different games will call for different setups, different players, different attributes. So it's very difficult to answer that question. Werner can play through the centre, obviously, because that's where he's best. But he also started his career as a wide player, so he could play across the front three. Now, if you remember when Jurgen Klopp came in, our front three rotated an awful lot. We've stopped doing that so much, but that could be possible as well. But we know Jurgen Klopp loves versatility in the players that he signs, and Timo Werner, as an example, Fekir, anyone we've been linked with, Fernandes, Pepe, Ziyech, any of these players that we've been linked with, Neres, they can all play in various positions. Peter O'Neill said it's a real shame Sanchez plays for Man United. Well, I'm going to pull you up on something there, Peter, mate. He takes a wage from Manchester United. He very rarely does any fucking playing, mate. But I really believe Klopp will turn him into a superstar again. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. When we sold Luis Suarez, I was fuming that we couldn't get Sanchez as part of that deal. Absolutely fuming. I couldn't get my head around how we held all the cards in the Luis Suarez negotiation. Barca wanted rid of Sanchez and we couldn't get it over the line. Yeah, I was fuming, mate. Absolutely fuming. And he chose Arsenal. He went to Arsenal. He's some good times at Arsenal, to be fair to him. But it hasn't worked out with United. That's clear. For whatever reasons, I don't know. Do you think we will see Gomez as a right back if Trent gets injured? Yes, most probably, mate. Or Fabinho can play there, don't forget. James Miller can play at left back. Do have the young guys coming through. Kleiny looks like he's going to move on. So yeah, probably is the honest answer. Craig Brewster is a number 9, said Stephen Richards. Yeah, of course, I forgot about that. I'm really torn on Ryan Brewster, and not about his ability. I absolutely love the kid. I think he's going to be a superstar. I'm more torn because I don't want to pile too much pressure on him. That's the only thing that stops me kind of singing chapter and verse every stream about Ryan Brewster. I absolutely believe in his ability. He is almost as close to something I would say is a sure thing as you can get coming through. But I still don't want such pressure on those young shoulders in his first full season in the first team. So I'd like Jurgen Klopp to be able to choose the right moments to unleash Ryan Brewster, and we'll see what potential this kid truly has. He looks like an absolute superstar, though. Arsenal are expected to announce Salabia Salaba. Is it Saliba? Saliba? I think it's Saliba, sorry, on July 1st. Any news on Firpo? Very, very little. Yeah, nothing at all that I've really seen. We've seen the stuff around the 45 million, but after that, not much. Spain are in the semi-finals, aren't they? Is it the semis or the final now? Well, anyway, they're still in the under 21s. So he's still on international duty as things stand. Do you have any advice on what I should do? People are spreading lies about me that involves me apparently saying horrible things which I never said. As I said to you earlier on, mate, the only piece of advice I could possibly give you is if somebody's telling half-truths about you, unleash the truth. If you tell the truth, if you lay it all out there, and you know you're not lying, you can't be pulled up on anything. You can't be pulled up on the truth. If somebody says you said something, or somebody said that you've written something, ask them for proof. Now, we know that you can be deep fake these days. We know it can happen, but ask them for proof. And just be honest. If you know you didn't say it, then defend yourself. You've every right to defend yourself. And again, sometimes on social media, you get this type of shithousery. Spoke about it, obviously, earlier on. But I hope it's alright, Joseph, mate. And I hope you get your name cleared if you're in the right, which you say you are, and I believe you, of course. Why wouldn't I? We're supposed to get Sanchez and Benzema that year. I don't remember the Benzema links too much. Not saying you're wrong, mate. My memory's just shocking. What night is it tonight? It's Saturday night, mate. Saturday nights and I like the way you move. Divock Origi. I did say no singing, but then somebody said Saturday night and, shit came together in my head. Right, guys, about 20-25 minutes left on tonight's stream. So there's been a bit of news on Marco Grujic as well. I seen an account tweet earlier on that there was, I think, an article in Kicker that suggested that Marco Grujic will be going back to Hertha Berlin on loan this season. I did say to you guys that it looked like he was going to go back on loan. I thought it would be to a club playing European competition, and are Hertha playing European competition this year? I don't think so. I could be wrong on that, but I don't know that they certainly are. So it looks like he could be going back there on loan. The good thing about this is he has a contract with Liverpool till 2023. That contract was extended before he went on loan last season. So there's still time at 23 years of age for Marco Grujic to improve, and I honestly would rather he had game time than just come in and sit behind Fabinho, but I think this is going to be a big season for him, and I think the decision will have to be made next summer, probably. So let's wait and see what happens there, but I do have faith in Grujic as a midfielder. He looks to me like he's a lot of potential. I think I need to give myself a break because I'll go crazy for getting Mbappe, said Mohammed. I don't blame you, mate. It's easy to let yourself get carried away with these things. You can't argue with the truth. Exactly. If you know you're saying the truth, the honestly blunt truth, even if it's going to expose some of your own flaws or not paint you in the best light, if you're telling the truth, you're telling the truth. I think Grujic should leave. How much would he cost? 15 million. Much more than that, Mossy. Much more. There was talk of different things. There was talk of 40 to Atletico and 25 somewhere else. So I'd imagine it's upwards of 25 million. But there's no need for him to leave just yet because he's got a long-term deal, and he was Klopp's first signing. Let's not forget that one. We should just sign young up-and-coming under-20s for the future. Thoughts? It's a good strategy that we've kind of been doing, Chad, to an extent. We have been getting a lot of good young talent in, but you still need to add a little bit of quality. And as I said earlier on, it is important to keep your best players as well, which is something we've been guilty of for many years of not doing, and now finally we're starting to do it. Callum said, Grujic I think will be a big player for us one day. So do I. I honestly think there's a lot of potential in that kid. I say kid, he's 23. Just saying, even though he said he wouldn't, this is why Origi's the go. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, mate. Why do you think Lazar Markovic didn't succeed? Again, I just want to say this is only my opinion. He looked like he didn't train great. He didn't look like he had the greatest attitude. After that, I don't know. I'm not privy into all we can judge him on is what we'd seen of him, and it just didn't never look like it was going to work out, really, did it? Who will win the Champions League first, Craig? City or PSG? City, I don't know if either will win the Champions League. I think City are certainly a lot closer to winning the Champions League than PSG. I think people miss the point when they ask about moving Firmino into midfield. He alternates between being a 10 and a 9, essentially. Moving him further back into midfield changes the dynamic of the team, said Jace Roberts. Yes, again, don't disagree with what Jace is saying. Which is why I want to get Jace's ass on here for a chat, because I have a lot of the same viewpoints as Jace, although he can usually express himself far more eloquently than I can. I just swear a lot and, say a few phrases here or there. But yeah, I cannot wait to get Jace on for a chat as well. I'd take the Van de Beek, or I'd take Van de Beek with Grujic money. Yeah, Van de Beek, I'm not going to lie, I'd love him. Absolutely love him. Until maybe 6 weeks ago, I probably didn't know too much about him. Watching obviously Ajax in the Champions League, looking back through some highlights and clips and games and statistics, he seems like he will be a good addition for us. Really good work rate, box to box. Could learn from Henderson and James Milner. Could be a potential successor to Henderson and James Milner. I'd love him. I really would, I have to say. Everything I see about him just makes me think he's a very good footballer. We're kind of suckers as Liverpool fans as well for a good workhorse, aren't we? Like somebody who really comes in and gives 100%, like a Dirk Kuyt type player. Let's talk about our captain, our Champions League winning Captain Mohamed, the man that lifted big ears above his head gloriously on that stage. I was so happy for Jordan Henderson. Absolutely love the guy. He's been through so much in his own life, with his father being unwell, of course, and his footballing career, but he's just kept plugging away, kept backing himself, and he deserves that success, and he will forever go down now as a club great. Whether you're still a detractor of his or not, he's a Champions League winning captain, and you cannot change that. That is what it is, and I'm so happy for Jordan Henderson because I like Jordan Henderson a lot. What news outlets do you think are the best for transfers on the updates? I don't know if there are any, is my honest answer. I don't want to put down anybody and I don't want to big up anybody, because with professional outfits, I like to trust that everybody acts in good faith and posts what they believe. Look, there's going to be clickbait to an extent because people need to drive traffic. That's just unfortunately the way of the world these days when it comes to businesses and newspapers and websites and stuff like that. You need to drive traffic there. I'm not involved in that side of things because we don't write articles or anything like that. You guys probably don't even know that we had a website, most of you or a lot of you. We're actually killing off the website because we don't use it. But yes, it's not a business I'm involved in, so I don't really know the ins and outs of it. But it's competitive from what I can gather. So I'd just say trust your instinct on transfers and try and just read between the lines and try and see if you think there's any truth. And maybe get it. This is why I love coming on here and chatting about these things, because sometimes I come in with one view, and I'm actually really determined coming in that I have this view, and then I will hear things from you guys in the chat, and I'll start to think, well, do you know what? Jace made sense, Mossy made sense, Sean made sense, Sam made sense. Somebody was, made valid points, and my view might change. And I always leave this stream in a better place than when I came on it, with information and stuff, which is why I love doing these streams, because it is a community. It's like a town square for us. We come on and we give our views, and sometimes we don't agree, and that's sound. We're not always going to agree, but 90% of the time, 95% of the time, people are very respectful of other people's views, and I love that about the channel. Mbappe refusing to sign the new deal. Liverpool must be in from sell him on the team to pay his lower wages. I think we spoke about hashtag Mbappe 2020 earlier on, mate, and you can make arguments as to why it could potentially happen. Henderson lifting the trophy was so satisfying, said Gaming Guy. It really was, mate. It really was. Jay said, to think we tried to part exchange Hendo for Clint Dempsey a few years back under Rodgers. For the stick he got/get, seeing Hendo lift that trophy was so special. Yeah. He said he cried. Do you remember? I think Jordan Henderson said he cried at that point. And he just decided that he was staying and fighting for his place. And I fucking love that in people. I just love that attribute of people backing themselves and just laying themselves on the line and saying, can I do this? Am I good enough? Well, I'm going to give it a shot. and he gave it a shot. And the rest is history. Looking forward to having a bunch of fit players this season, said Happily Eggs. I think we should go in for Fekir for around 23 million, said Eclipse Fusion. From what I've heard, he's been alright for the entire season. I don't think he's missed too many games. I'm not going to lie, mate, and say I know the numbers off the top of my head, but certainly don't remember any major stories of him missing major periods. Well, I don't think he's had his best season for Lyon either with regards to his numbers, but that could be for any number of reasons. He could be still a little bit pissed that he didn't get the move that he wanted last year. I spoke on Thursday night stream about a story coming out from was this the Lyon manager or somebody came out from the Lyon side that said that he was pretty disappointed that move to Liverpool didn't happen last year, so maybe that affected him throughout the season. Owen McNeil said we played 4-2-3-1 a couple of times last season. If we sign Pepe and maybe a defensive midfielder, could add a lot of variety. Yep, and variety, as I keep saying, is definitely what Jurgen Klopp loves. He loves versatility in his footballers. How bad was Keita's injuries? Are we talking about for Guinea? In which case, I would say it's just... He shouldn't have been fucking playing, mate. If I'm being honest, I think he was rushed back. Now, there are club doctors there. Liverpool, I believe, has a doctor over there. But at the end of the day, it's the Guinean manager's decision. And we just hope that Naby comes back fit, or as fit as can be at this point. Has his holiday, which of course he absolutely deserves, and comes back ready for the new season. And we get to see what we all know Naby Keita is capable of. Bobby Ball said, I think Klopp loves Oxlade-Chamberlain so much, putting all his trust in him, have a great season, and the need going into the market, no need to go into the market for an attacking mid. I've no doubt that he really, really backs and believes in Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, as do I. I keep talking about the impact that he had when Coutinho left. We used to, at times, give it to Coutinho and let him see what he could do. But when Coutinho moved on, which I was furious about at the time, I'm not going to lie, I can't rewrite history. I was furious about it. I was furious about the point that we didn't have somebody to come in, a ready-made replacement there. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and the rest of that Liverpool team stepped up, and he was immense, absolutely immense in that run to the Champions League final. Of course, we know what happened against Roma, and that was heartbreaking, and I can't wait to have him back. He just looks like a great lad. He looks like he's great around the club. He is one hell of a human being as well. He's one of the most social media savvy footballers I've ever seen. But he just seems like a good lad, and you just wish him well. And he's a damn good footballer as well. Brian Kelly said, love this channel. Thank you, mate. I love that you love the channel, and thank you for being here. Why are you this late live? Because this is the time we go live at every night, mate. We go at 9:30 and we go till about 11:15. It's what we've done since day one. Although actually, at day one we used to do 3-hour streams at one point. You guys remember? Really, in the early days we used to go from like 9 till 12:30 sometimes. But yeah, this is what we do, mate, because I'm aware that we have people that watch in America and Australia, and we try to pick a time that gives everyone a chance to get in. Yeah, so that's what we do. Bruno Fernandes, no way. Come on, United will get him. I think United will get him, to be fair, from what I've seen. Certainly looks more likely than to Liverpool. Am I the only one? I think Naby Keita is injury prone. I can't say if you're the only one, mate. I just think he's had a bad season. They've been on niggly little injuries as well. I guess this season coming up will tell us. Boya, how are you, mate? On Leicester City, mate. Anything at your end? Anything happening? Anything with Maguire, for instance? Did I see that you guys signed somebody the other day? Oh, I want to as well say a quick shout out to our friends at 3 Retro for sorting me out with something. I can't say too much, but I might be doing some work, some extracurricular activities, shall we say. And I needed a shirt, and I inquired with 3 Retro about how quickly they could get something delivered to me if I bought it. And of course, them being the classy guys that they are, they sent me over a free shirt. And I want to say massive thank you again to Danny, the guys at 3 Retro, Score Draw, their sister company, for everything. These shirts they've given us to give away throughout the season. And just for being just a brilliant set of companies to work with. For them to have taken a chance on such a young channel that they did at the time, I'll never forget that. No matter how big we get, if I never do any more work with them ever going forward, I'll never forget how great they were to deal with. So again, lots of love to 3 Retro. Oxlade-Chamberlain is dynamic and spirited. He rampages. I like that, Luke. Rampages. If we don't sign anyone, do you think Kent, Wilson, Lewis and the under 23s can bolster up the squad? Kent is going. There's no way that he'll be here next season. Sorry, I don't mean that to sound like I've any inside information, Alfonso. I don't. Just reading what he was speaking about himself, that he wants to put down roots. He's sick of going back out on loan. Rangers want him. I don't know if they can afford him. Leeds looked at him. Middlesbrough looked at him. Villa looked at him. Wilson is going to be the interesting one. A few different stories there. A couple of people saying that he'll get pre-season and Jurgen Klopp will make his decision then. A couple of other people saying that there's a price of 25 million and if anybody hits that, he'll move on. I guess only time will tell. Lewis definitely looks like somebody who's going to step up this season and get a chance. How much of a chance? I don't know. We signed James Justin, promising young player. We've put in a bid for Tillman's, hoping it'll be accepted, and that we've said Maguire 80 million or do one. Gotta be honest, boy, Maguire's not worth 80 million, even in this inflated market. But look, you're in a great position in that if you get the money from, you don't give a shit, fuck him, he's gone. But for me as an outsider with absolutely no vested interest in this, I rate Harry Maguire as a defender. I really, really do. I just don't think he's 80 million. But again, you're in a very strong position there. So hopefully your club gets the best deal for your club. James Justin, I did see that was the name that I'd forgotten about. Again, interesting to see what business Leicester do this summer. Leicester and Wolves, 2 clubs, and maybe West Ham, worth keeping an eye on. And as Brian Morrissey said, sub to Leicester City FC Boya. Please do. You're going to see Anthony on our channel a little bit this year as well when we play Leicester City. Hopefully home and away we'll have a chat with Boya, and I want to get him on for a pod as well. But more than anything, he's a good lad. He's a really good lad that runs a very good channel. I keep saying this. I hope you guys have checked him out. If, we've loads of fans in here that aren't Liverpool fans. Same thing. Go over, check out Anthony's account. Leicester City FC Boya, or LCFC Boya. I keep saying LFC Boya. I always make that mistake. But yeah, great channel, great lad. So many good football fan content channels out there. Obviously, you've got Expressions, you've got the United Stand, you've got Toffee TV as well, you've got Redmen TV, the Anfield Rap, Boya, you've got the whole Leicester City 100 crew, you've got Lee Chappie, and so many other great channels that I just can't think of at this moment in time. But yeah, lots of love to all of them and all the work they put in. Camacho's wrong deal. 7 million is too cheap. We've got 1 year left on his deal, mate, and we got a good deal. We got 7 million. We got a potential buyback, and we got a sell-on clause of 20% or something. So looking at it as 7 million is very short-term thinking, because there will be more to this. If we like him and he progresses, we can buy him back. If we don't and he gets a big money move elsewhere, then we get 20% of it. So I think we play the long game on Rafa Camacho. Rants beat DT's son by TKO. Thank you for that news. As I said before, I don't like the DT, but I absolutely have nothing but respect for the man's son and his family, and I hope, congratulations to Rants, by the way. I hope everybody's safe, first and foremost. I hope that DT's son is okay. I hope money was raised for a good cause, which I'm sure it was, and lots of love to both of them. Anybody who steps through the ropes is nothing but a warrior. So again, as much as I don't like Mr. Double Initials, nothing but respect for his family and his son, and of course Rants as well. So well done to everyone for raising some money there. Are you ever tired doing it this late? No, Kyle, mate. I keep really weird hours, buddy. I don't go to sleep till about 4 or 5 a.m, mate. So to me, this is probably evening time, really. I'm a bit of a weirdo with regards to that. I've always kept late hours my entire life. I don't know why. A bit of a night owl. See, no need to sell Lovren. He's good. He's a good age still. Very experienced centre back, even though he isn't the best. Can still put in a shift. Look, I've absolutely no issues with Dejan Lovren whatsoever, Alfonso. I think, as you've said, good quality centre-back to have at the club. If Dejan Lovren moves on, I believe it's because he will want to move on and not because he's been pushed out the door. What else we got? Mulba said, I think it'll be a good deal. Is this for Rafa Camacho, mate? Which I agree if that is the case. I think long term it probably will be a good deal for us. I'm just looking through my notes to see if I've forgotten or missed anything else. I don't think I have. I think that's everything I've had to speak about. Right, what else we got? My Xbox just turned off automatically, said Scotty. That's alright, mate. You're back now. Right, anybody got any more comments or anything before we finish up tonight? Anyone anything else they want to talk about? Any questions, anything, please do. Feel free to hit me up. And again, last shout, if you're watching, you haven't subscribed, please do hit that button. On the road to 20k, and I would absolutely love to get there in and around the time the season starts again. So please do let other people know about us as well if you enjoy the channel. And thank you as well so much to everyone as always. But let me keep going a few more minutes. Your Skybox does that. Oh, don't talk to me, man. I love Skyboxes, by the way. I've got a Sky Q box. Well, 3 Sky Q boxes around the house, and they're brilliant. But they do take an awful long time to turn back on when they do their updates and turn off. Jesus serve my life, bro. Said Lovren needs to go. We need another VVD because we can't put hope in 3 centre backs. Why can't we, mate? Look, your opinion on Lovren is absolutely your own opinion. You're fully entitled to it, but why can't we put faith in Joe Gomez, in Joel Matip, and in potentially Sepp Vandenberg, who a lot of clubs around Europe are trying to get in? I think we've got a decent collection there. How's the podcast coming? I don't know what you mean by that, the Craw.84. Sorry, mate. I genuinely don't know what you mean by it. We're recording another one on Monday, but there's been a few. We've put a few out already. 20 mil attacker of your choice, Fekir. I know it's a little bit above 20 mil, mate, but humour me on that one now because I can't think of anybody else. The state of that joke. Don't trip, mate. Honestly, don't go into fucking comedy, pal, because it's just not for you. So you want to know his fantastic joke that Brian deleted, but I have to read out because it's just it's a dad joke, really, isn't it? You know the one ship that'll never dock at Liverpool? The Premiership. Jesus, mate, come on. Jesus. That's awful. Oh, man, that's poor. Anyway, look, we'll move on. Do you think Lille signing Timothy Weah mean they're already buying cover for Pepe? I could absolutely see why that argument could be made. Maybe. I don't know, Eclipse. Sorry, I know that's a shithouse answer, but I genuinely don't know. Alberto Aquilani retired as well, said Gonads. Thank you for reminding me of that one. Yeah. I don't know what to say about the little prince. He was brought in to replace Xabi Alonso. Didn't work out for him. I don't know what else to say. Obviously wish anybody well with their retirement. Yeah, don't forget Hoover in that mix. Yeah, the only reason I didn't include Hoover was because I think he might be a season away, John, from progressing through a little bit. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Kylian Hoover looks the business. Excuse me, GTM boss, how are you, pal? I don't know why I did the wave, like the hello wouldn't have just done. Can we talk about Mbappe not signing a new PSG deal? Yes, certainly. Amusing assassin. We did touch on it a little bit earlier on. There is stuff coming out that suggests. I don't know how long he has left on his PSG deal, so excuse me on that one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there has definitely been stuff coming out to say that he's refusing or no interest in signing a new deal there because, from what I've read, he doesn't believe his ambitions of winning the Champions League and in turn the Ballon d'Or could be fulfilled at Paris Saint-Germain anytime soon. I agree, if I'm being honest with him. I've said that before about PSG. I don't think they'll ever win the Champions League because of the lack of a real competitive week in, week out environment for them to play in their league. But yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. Where's the chair? Are we talking about the Liverpool chair, mate? It's in production. That will take... I'm hoping the guys at Serendipity Furniture are hoping to have the chair ready and to deliver it for the start of the season. So fingers crossed. But don't you worry, I will let you know about that chair. I can't wait to get it. Can't wait to meet Paul and Beth and the team at Serendipity Furniture as well, and say thank you. What else we got? And by the way, I will give you guys many more updates on the chair and stuff as we go along. Something of that quality, something of that craftsmanship takes time. I think it's a 6 to 8 week build time on these chairs, and I'm so excited about it, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, there'll be enough time for me to brag and boast about that beautiful piece of furniture. Looks like we're going to at least sign one more player, said Mohammed. Let's hope it's Mbappe. Honestly, Mohammed, I don't think it'll be this summer, buddy. Whatever happens with Mbappe, I don't think it'll be this summer. I think maybe next summer, if anything is to happen with his career, but I just don't think it's this summer. A date with my girlfriend is less than watching Craig live. There you go, Tussy. I knew we were here, mate. I knew it. But don't ever piss off your good lady, mate. Keep the lady happy. I'm sure she deserves it as well. And always be respectful. I'm sure you are. Bruno Fernandes, check his Insta story. Craig was on a plane. Yeah. He was on a plane as well the other day, mate, and we all got a little bit carried away with ourselves. And turns out he was on his way to Dubai. And now, I don't know, a couple of people are suggesting it's look, I would imagine he's more likely to sign for United because they need him more. And that's, I haven't seen a genuine link to Liverpool. Personally, I think it's possible for Mbappe coming to Liverpool. He's met with James and Sturridge. Yes, he has, and spoken fondly about Liverpool as well. Let's not forget to add that one in. What's Adam Charles Lead says? No Mbappe, stop trolling. I don't know if there's somebody called No Mbappe in the chat, or if you're saying Liverpool won't get Mbappe, stop trolling. Either way, mate, I don't think any of us have said we're getting Mbappe. I mean, if I have, show me where I've said it or written it. I don't believe I have. What else have we got? Was Pepe ruled out? Sorry, see, Werner said only just joined. Pepe ruled out. No, not at all. Not ruled in either, by the way. Again, let me just do a quick recap on all the news before we finish up tonight for people that are coming in a bit late. So there was a tweet that went out from a gentleman called Sega Diallo, who you may remember broke, I think it was an Naby Keita deal, but he was certainly somebody who voiced very early on about a signing that we made. So he tweeted about that, saying that Pepe has his heart set on a move to England. And then Mohamed Boufassi, who is a respected journalist from France, didn't speak about anything, sorry. He quote tweeted that tweet with the googly eye emoji, and then previous tweets, I think before that suggested Liverpool were linked to Pepe. Then we moved on and we spoke about Divock Origi looking like he's close to agreeing a new 5-year deal at the club, which is absolutely fantastic news and no more than Divock deserves. We were talking about, I listened to an episode of the Blood Red podcast, a very good episode I should say, with football finance expert Kieran Maguire involved, and there are two things I took from that. Firstly, he mentioned that Klopp, if he wanted to, could spend 150 million this summer and Liverpool would still be in a healthy financial position. I'm paraphrasing there, I should say, a little bit, so I'm not saying they were his exact words, but it was in and around that. And secondly, and most interestingly to me, I can't even speak now, he said that Manchester City hired a guy that was heavily involved in writing the FFP rules or regulations for UEFA as their director of finance, or at least to a similar role as a director of finance. What else we talk about? Grujic looks like he's going to go on loan to Hertha Berlin, according to Kicker in Germany. And was there something else? Ziyech apparently has no release clause, but €30 million does seem to be a figure that Ajax are willing to do business at. I think that was pretty much everything we covered tonight. Do we think Liverpool need to make a new signing? Yes, I do, Kyle. I absolutely do. I think we would be very foolish not to add an attacking player to the squad going into the season. Zaid, how are you, buddy? Said, hi Craig, haven't been on the streams in a while. Keep up the good work. Nice to be back. Hopefully I'll be back for more. Hopefully, Zaid, and I hope things are life's treating you well, buddy. Just did the recap, Adam, mate. Hope you got it. If not, God, it was bad timing. But I hope you got the recap, Adam. I think this Mbappe has made his decision to where he's going. Probably. To an extent, yes, maybe. There's too many potential dots for us to join together here for the Mbappe situation. But look, it's easy to get carried away as football fans, but you're allowed to dream. It's part of the fun. Liverpool could buy Fekir and Ziyech for under 60 million. Yeah, absolutely. That is pretty much a fact, mate. Yeah, we could. My dad thinks Mignolet is a world-class backup. He's a very strong backup to have. It's weird though, because I wouldn't fancy him as a number one, but as a backup, yeah, I have no problems. I would agree with your dad. As a backup, I think he's a very strong addition to have, and he's been thoroughly professional this season as well. Dembele, what's happening with him? It all hinges on Neymar coming back and Coutinho leaving. I don't know what's going on with Coutinho to PSG, Chad. There was definitely some talk of that one. What I could say on that is he turned down PSG a couple of times when he was at Liverpool. But Dembele, there has certainly been a lot of talk of him being included in the Neymar deal. Whether it happens or not, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. I think the president or the vice president of Barcelona came out a while ago and said that Dembele's not going anywhere. But again, we'll have to wait and see how things work out. Neymar looks like he wants to go back to Barcelona. Barcelona perhaps want him. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, it doesn't take much of guessing to read between the lines that potentially that makes sense what you're saying. At least one of those two is part of the deal. What else we got? I love Ziyech, just my opinion, but he seems like a perfect player. So Brian Morrissey, especially at that money, mate, at €30 million, which is about what, 25, 26 million pound. Yeah, seems like a gamble that would be worth taking if Jurgen Klopp believed he could do a job. Is Neymar worth over 100 million plus Coutinho or Dembele? Look, honestly, my opinion on Neymar is that he's overhyped completely. He has potential to be amazing. He has absolute genius in his feet without a shadow of a doubt, but we haven't seen enough of it for me. He rolls around too, you know what I'm going to say, he rolls around too much. He's an absolute diva. He's more concerned about money. That's just my opinion, but everybody has a different view on Neymar. Craig, have we ever signed a superstar? I mean, superstar. Not really. Not that I can think of. I mean, obviously we could go back to the 60s, 70s and stuff, and I don't know because I wasn't around then, but we signed players that went on to be superstars. But yeah, we've often said that about Liverpool, haven't we, that we're a club that makes stars, but we're in a different position financially now. We've been playing catch up for the last 10 or 15 years, and we're finally starting to establish ourselves, so we can afford to do it. Not all the time, but you know, we could definitely afford to structure one massive deal like that. What else we got? Spurs will hijack Jack Clark this week. Is he the guy from Leeds? Or am I missing out on that completely? Which right back, left back and goalkeeper should we get as backup? Left back, it looks like it'll be Adam Lewis, Billy. Right back, I don't know. I have no idea. A goalkeeper, Mignolet could stay. If Mignolet moves on, then as I said before, the realistic links that I'd seen were Etheridge, were Adrian, Pepe Reina to a lesser extent. I can't think if I've missed somebody or not that we've been linked to in the goalkeeping position as a backup. And then of course you have to remember Queven Kelleher's there as well, and Camille Grabara. Jamal George is moving on. I think he's gone to Swindon, or maybe that's happened and I've just missed it. What's the news with Nicolas Pepe? I thought it was fake. There isn't really any news, mate, except for the guy that tweeted that he has his heart set to move to the UK. A French journalist then quote tweeted that with the googly eyes, and I kind of think it all went from there. But yes, you're right, we did rule it out to an extent. If you take Melissa Reddy at face value, which I always like to do because I like Melissa Reddy as a journalist, I think she does a great job. I'm fine with Miggs and Dejan staying. Said nice day. Dave's LFC chat said Liverpool are an intergalactic nebula. We make stars. I like that, mate. Well in. Andy Carroll was a superstar. Oh God, Andy Carroll. Right, look, ladies and gents, I'm going to call it a night there. I will chat to you all very soon. As I end, as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Give us a thumbs up if you are so inclined. Thank you all for your time as always. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care of your families. Tell your loved ones that you love them. And up the motherfucking